Hello, 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 boys and girls, kings and queens, ladies, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Will it be a good show? I don't know, gang. It's Friday, okay? We're chilling, we're relaxing. It'll be a casual call-in stream, maybe. Hopefully, we'll see. We got some stuff to talk about. Don't worry. I want to talk about the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, did you know that the award was announced yesterday, last night? Trump did not get it, and a lot of people on the MAGA side of things are very big mad about it. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna discuss it. Zephyr Hash says men are in crisis. I didn't get the memo. Yeah, we're gonna talk about a little bit about that too. Mr. Wise Guy Harmonics says I would like to talk about why you think it's a hard decision between voting for Hassan or Tim Pool. Oh, in like a hypothetical who would you elect president matchup, I guess. It is a hard decision for me. Sure, if you want to call in about that, we can in a little bit. Give people a minute to get here. And then I'll start yapping, getting people in. We're also going to talk about the announcement of a Qatari Air Force base in Idaho, of all places. I guess we know now what they bought with their jet, right? Their gift of the $600 million jet to Trump. I guess we know what they got for their little gift there. So that would be a interesting thing to discuss. We're going to talk about it. J Max says another men panel. No, today's call-in shows. We're going to do another men versus women panel next week if I can get folks for it. Based on a tweet I saw, which I will show you if you'd like. Then we can discuss it, right? But yeah, mostly today, I want to do call-ins, okay? So I want you, yes, you, dear viewer, to call in and talk to me about what you want to discuss. What kind of takes have you seen that you don't like from me, or that maybe that you like and you want to praise me for? Maybe, right? Are there things that you think we should be talking about, but no one is talking about, and you'd like it to be discussed? Are there things that have been bothering you that you've seen just on the news, or just about how people are interacting, either in this space, in the greater online space, or in the world at large that you'd like to discuss? All these things and more are what we're going to be talking about today. Here is a link, and I'm providing this in both the Discord, the Twitch, and the YouTube. This is a link to the Discord. Pin it. And I'll do this in Twitch chat as well. So if you want, dear viewer, if you'd like to call in, here's how you do it. You're going to click that link that I just posted, okay? You're going to hit it, okay? And then you're going to go to the rules page, right? You'll click it. It'll send you to, you'll only be able to see like 3 pages, okay? There'll be a rules page. Okay, on that rules page, you'll see my little face emoji. Click that to accept the rules, okay? You're agreeing to abide by my terms of service, if you will. And once you've done that, you'll see a bunch of rooms pop up. You will see a channel at the top called Backstage. Jump in there, and when it's time, I'll pull you in, and you can yap at me about whatever you like. Superfly Jesus Guy says, release Epstein files. What if I could, brother? Okay, I'd like that to happen. The ball's not in my court on that, so. Sorry if I'm a little lower energy today. I'm sundowning? What do you mean I'm sundowning? Did I forget something? Did I say something silly? Possible I did. But let's look to start off our little day today. I spaced out for 30 seconds. Did I? Yeah. If I did, it's crazy. So here's the news of the day, and I'll adjust it so you can see it better. So, breaking news. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize to Maria Corina Machado for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. So now for those of you who don't know, Venezuela is currently run by a pretty authoritarian guy, okay? And this is the opposition party who's been struggling through nonviolent means to try and get democracy back into Venezuela. That's been what's happening. I am not an expert on the conflict. I'm not an expert on the situation. We could look into it if you'd like, right? But that's the reason they're awarding her this prize, is in their opinion, her work in this is worthy of award. And I tend to agree, just from the kind of first blush look at the things she's done and the risks she's taken in order to try and bring democracy to Venezuela. I think it's a decent choice. I say this because not everyone agrees with me, and we're going to look at some of the people who disagree. We have Representative Ana Paulina Luna, okay? Congressional representative from the Florida, okay? The Nobel Prize Commission has lost all credibility. Real Donald Trump has ended 8 wars in 9 months, and he deserved Nobel Peace Prize. Thank you to the Kremlin for backing President Trump. And here's a tweet from Truth Social. Truth? I don't know what they call him over there. Saying, thank you to President Putin. President Putin responds to President Trump not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. This award has lost credibility. The committee discussed the prize for people who've done nothing for the world. He solves complex problems, crises that last for decades. And you have him talking in Russian, saying this, we won't watch it, right? But basically, that's what they're quoting it accurately. Putin is very upset that Donald Trump didn't get the Peace Prize. And if there's anyone I listen to when I want to know who deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, it's Putin. Putin's the guy. That's a joke. I'm lying to you. Obviously, Putin is the guy I would trust. Probably the least on this earth to know who is deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize. To be fair, he might know, but he would throw them out the window, right? Like he would have them killed. Putin does not want peace. I just found it amazing, right? And we're going to look at more, right? I'm just taking a drink real quick. At the various, it can only really be described as a meltdown from MAGA that he didn't win. It's insane. Like, why is this so important to you as an individual, right? Like, do you really care who wins the Nobel Peace Prize? I particularly don't. It's nice that this lady got awarded it, but if someone else got awarded it, I wouldn't shed tears, right? It's not a big part of my life or a big part of my day about who wins or who doesn't win this Peace Prize. But MAGA, Trump specifically, has been pushing, both publicly and privately, a pressure campaign on the Nobel Prize Commission people to get the award because he's envious. He's envious of the 4 previous presidents who have won Nobel Peace Prizes, including Barack Obama. And he's very, very upset about it, and he wants it too. And so he's been making it very clear that he's going to put pressure on people to get this award. You've seen his sycophants. I don't know how to pronounce words today, right? You've seen his sycophants talk about it, and these same sycophants are very, very upset that he didn't get it. Let's look at some more. $5 from Zephyrhash. It says, if you don't give Trump the Peace Prize, he will nuke the world. Blame Norway. I mean, unironically, nuke is a strong term, right? But there will be consequences. This is why the person who won it had to make a kind of like a sycophantic post congratulating Donald Trump or dedicating it to Donald Trump, because she knows that aid for her cause is tied to appeasing his ego. And if he doesn't, or if she doesn't appease his ego, then she will get no aid. And this is a lesson that world leaders have learned very quickly. It's not about what's in America's interests. It's about like what would bring the best amount of stability to the world. It's not really even about the morality of a situation. The only way to secure support, U.S. support for your cause, is to suck Trump's dick. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that he cares about. It's the only variable in his calculation that has any weight, is can you appease this man's ego? And we've seen this time and time and again, right? When world leaders appease his ego, he tends to look upon them favorably and grant them favors and do things for them, right? And kind of open our coffers for them. When they don't, when they criticize him, it's the exact opposite. Again, United States interests have almost nothing to do with it. So what is actually in our best interest as a nation, as a country, doesn't really factor in all that much to these things. It's literally, are you nice or are you mean to President Trump? That's it. Let's look at some more of these fun little tweets. Okay, the meltdown, the MAGA meltdown here from MAGA Voice. Breaking, some random person that nobody knows, Maria Machado, I don't even know how to say her name, just won the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize is a joke. Anyone with a brain knows Donald Trump should have won. Trump could have cured cancer. Such a joke. Okay, you got like 6,000 likes on this shit. Okay. John Strand, President Trump isn't just the greatest president in U.S. history. He's one of the greatest leaders in human history. I said what I said. Bro's trying real hard to get that cabinet position. Okay? Real hard. We've had a lot of scandals in the politics world, right? We've seen a lot of leaked tapes, right? A lot of gay sex tapes, okay? That's come across my timeline, unfortunately. Nothing that I've ever seen in all my life is more gay than this post. He could be literally sucking a dick live on screen, and it would be less gay than this post. I'm just telling it like it is, gang. I'm just telling it like it is, okay? This is the gayest stuff I've ever seen in my entire 42 years on God's green earth. It can't get gayer than this. I'm sure they're going to prove me wrong, like in a day or two, right? I'm going to see a tweet that's even gayer. But as it stands today, if I were awarding a Nobel Prize for gayness, okay, John Strand, you win, okay? The commission has decided by unanimous consent to award you the Nobel Prize for being a gay little F slur, okay? There's nothing gayer than that post today that you have made, okay? Nothing can top that. I can't even conceive of it. I told you guys we were going to have fun today, right? I told you guys we were going to have a casual little stream. $5 from Zephyr Hash to say appeasing Trump makes or breaks countries. America is great again. They all respect America now. Based in holy Trump has MAGA'd. Wick's mom gets the Nobel Prize for gayness. My mom is a nice lady. Confluence says, I mean, if frickin' Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize, then Trump should absolutely should have won it. Why should have Trump won the Nobel Peace Prize? Right? What has he done that has hold on. Lola, are you okay? My dog. 1 second, please. Sorry about that, gang. She's hacking something up. I think she's okay, though. I'm monitoring the situation. He muted so he wouldn't hear the shot caller. No, I didn't want you to just hear me saying, Lola, are you good? Are you good? Are you good? I see her. She's right over there. She's looking at me. Right. I don't keep her on stream as a prop. So, not gonna shock her. That's crazy. Well, okay, so the Hassan stuff, I don't know enough about the shot callers to really weigh in on this, okay? I watched the video or the clip or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. Loner Box had a pretty good breakdown on it if you want to go check that out. It doesn't look good for Hassan. But again, I don't know. And of all the things to care about in the world right now, of all the things to care about in the world. Yes, I keep my toys on my shelf because toys aren't living creatures. Yes, I do keep my toys as a prop. These are props that I play with, but they don't have feelings. They don't need to move about, okay? They don't need to be fed, except with the blood of my enemies, perhaps. Chris says, you heard it here first. Wick TV refuses to prop up his dog. He'd rather it be down in the dirt. Alejandro Hernandez says, Trump has finally solved the immigration issue in the U.S. for one. He also finally solves corruption within the... Hold on. Okay, I was riding with you for the first one. Solve the immigration issue, maybe, right? We could discuss whether or not that was worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize, or that it's even solved. I don't know, but okay. But solve the corruption within the White House? Bro. He just fired a prosecutor for refusing to go after his political enemies because there wasn't enough evidence, right, of any wrongdoing. He just accepted a $600 million private jet, a gift from Qatar, and is now giving Qatar an airbase in Idaho. Solving corruption in the White House. What do you mean? What are you talking about? This is perhaps the most corrupt administration I have seen in my entire life. And that's saying something because they're all kind of corrupt to various degrees. This is the most brazenly corrupt administration. If you do not play ball, they will cast you out. Like, if you do not praise Trump in this administration, give him like a literally 2-minute standing ovations in their cabinet meetings. And you have to open up by how great you think he is. That's corruption, brother. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I can't even read the rest of what you're writing because that right there just disqualifies anything you say from here on out, that you think that he solved corruption. I guess if you mean that he solved anti-corruption by like getting rid of any laws that could punish him or anything like that, or his cronies. But if you think that the Trump White House isn't corrupt, I don't know what to tell you. That's insane to say. That's an insane comment, man. Sorry, I'm getting. Do you not trust Qatar? No, I don't trust Qatar. Why would I trust Qatar? What would Qatar? You mean the guys who fund Hamas? Why would I trust them? If he was corrupt, oh, you're just trolling me. Okay, I understand, Alejandro. Okay, I get it. That's a good one. You know what? Kudos to you. You got me. You got me. I just I can't. The problem is it's hard. Okay, it got me because it's you played it so well, because that's exactly what I've heard word for word a lot of MAGA say. Like, they'll just unironically, with no ounce of sarcasm, just say things like that. Like he solved corruption in the White House. They honestly believe it. They honestly believe this, and it's insane to me. They live in a delusion, in a world that is bereft from facts or reality. Yeah, Icarus, he won't guide me good. Okay, he won't guide me good. Sorry. Well, I told you we were going to have fun today. And we're having fun, aren't we? We're having fun. And we're not done having fun. We got, what's this guy? Vince Langman say the Nobel Peace Prize is now officially, completely irrelevant because the Venezuelan opposition leader won it and not his boy, Trump. Okay. That's really all it comes down to. Trump didn't win. They're very, very mad. And then we have this lady, I think, Spitfire, dog right girl. She's feisty AF, dogs rule all, heavy on snark and sarcasm, America first. Man, 340,000 people follow this person. What's going on in the world, okay? So Time, she's screenshotting or quoting Time that says Trump loses Nobel Peace Prize he shamelessly campaigned for, and saying things like, just when you thought the media couldn't go any lower. Just wow. Ma'am, look, I complain about the media. I think the media isn't above criticism, and there's plenty of criticism you can levy against the media. But this headline is just true. This is a factual statement of reality. Trump shamelessly, both publicly and privately, campaigned and launched a full court public pressure, a pressure campaign, in order to get the Nobel Peace Prize. And he lost, at least this year. There's nothing low about them reporting on the facts as they stand. That's just true. Confluence says it was irrelevant when Obama won it. Even Obama was shocked and took it as a call to action because he knew he didn't do anything. Look, you can argue whether or not Obama should have won it, and that's a fair argument to have. But Trump, that's a different argument than whether or not Trump should win it, right? If your sole argument of why Trump should get it is because Obama did, you're going to need to convince me more, right? Simply, even if I would agree with you that Obama didn't earn it, it would be compounding error upon error to give it to someone else who didn't earn it, okay? Zephyr Ash for $5. I'm supporting the Philadelphia Eagles for the Peace Prize 2026. If we get enough votes, we can make it happen. That's how it works, MAGA told me. Maybe. The Devil Game says, people are saying it's because of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire. So, if you don't know, the Peace Prize has a deadline, right? Like, for submissions and for reasons for submissions. That Israel-Hamas ceasefire was signed... yesterday, 2 days ago, last week. The deadline is long since passed, and maybe you can bring that up if it holds for a reason to nominate him for 2026, but it wouldn't work for this year's. It's just not applicable. Do you think it'll hold? I'm suspicious. I'm skeptical. We'll see. I hope it does. But whether or not that brings lasting peace to the region, I don't know. Fool me once, shame on me, right? Or what is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's it. Sorry, I'm a little tired today. Yeah, I don't know. NoCal Mike says, "Why has my co-host Tallybots abandoned me? Has she abandoned me? It's I'm just doing a call-in stream today. I'm not doing a co-host thing today. It's not a Wick and Tallybots show. I think she's on vacation. I could be wrong. But has she abandoned me? Maybe. The Bush quotes. Fool me once, can't get fooled again. I wish that were true. But anyway, we got some callers. And this is a call-in show. Let's start bringing them in. I don't know the order they came in, so we're going to try. Hello, you're live. Hello, you're live. I can't hear you because you are muted.
There we go. Okay, now you can hear me. Right?
Yeah. Hi.
Okay, good. So a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Well, let me mention the you can't see me, right?
No, I can't see you.
There we go. Now you can see me, right?
No, I still can't see you. You gotta turn your camera on.
Oh, because I didn't. Oh, I'm an idiot. Hold up.
Maybe.
There we go.
Okay, now there we go. See you.
Now we can see me. All right. So I'm very sympathetic towards Trump, just to give my bias out there. And seeing all the Twitter stuff that you're showing, actually, I like to call it X, but I'll just say Twitter just to appease your audience.
You can say X, man. It doesn't matter.
Twix, actually. I'm going to call it Twix. Someone that I know says Twix. But the comments where they're saying, it hurts to watch people get so mad about him not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. And you just said something about how there's a deadline and the Israel thing that just happened like recently, it just wasn't a factor.
Yeah, I think basically the cutoff what you were saying? January 31st for what it was. So
of this year?
Yes, of this year.
Oh, okay. So he couldn't have won because he literally wasn't in office at that time. So
I mean,
maybe next year
you can still win even if you're not in office, right? Like you don't have to be president.
Well, yes, but like all the things that he did during this year wouldn't have counted towards it.
Not as I understand it. So. I'm not a Nobel expert, by the way. So just grain of salt.
But you said the cutoff was January 31st.
So as I understand it, they take submissions up till a certain deadline, which is the 31st of January, and they will count everything you've done within that submission, right? So you'll submit, you'll be nominated, you'll submit whatever it is, the packet, I'm assuming, or whoever nominates you will submit the packet. In the commission will review it, look into you, and make their decisions. So that's how I understand it works.
I mean, I don't really know how it works, but I'm assuming that, I mean, just what you just said there, that kind of would make sense. But yeah, watching all that stuff it's kind of cringe, seeing all the MAGA people get really super upset about that.
There's literally dozens, if not hundreds of these posts, right? The small taste is what I gave you.
Yeah. So I'm one of those.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just froze for a minute.
Oh, I'm like one of those people that can kind of like see both sides of the issue. I'm much more sympathetic towards Trump than I am towards, I guess, your side because of like the stuff that Trump went through, and it's because like you were talking about the corruption thing, right?
Okay.
And I agree with you. Wait, what'd you say?
I said okay, and you said you agree with me, but I hear a but coming.
Yeah, I agree with you, but like, there's a reason. Like the stuff that you see as like corruption for Trump, like a lot of people on the right would say, like the left is super corrupt, and I kind of see both sides just weigh who's corruption, who they like more versus who they don't, because a lot of MAGA people will say, oh no, he solved corruption, where it's not that he solved corruption, it's just that the corruption that he's doing, the MAGA people like, so they don't really see it as like a bad thing.
Do you think
And that's
MAGA
kind of,
likes the fact that he's giving a Qatari airbase or an
I
airbase
think,
in Idaho to Qatar? Do you
I
think
think
they like
some,
that?
I think some of them. Like, remember when didn't he get that jet from Qatar as well? Like that.
Yes, that's why he's giving them the airbase, is because he got, as a gift, a $600 million private jet from Qatar. And just today, it was announced that he is allowing Qatar to have an airbase in American soil in Idaho.
To be honest, I didn't hear about this until now, so obviously
I'm going to share my
not
screen.
for that. That's kind of.
I'm telling you, there are people in MAGA who don't like this. This is Laura Loomer.
Oh no! I'm not saying that there isn't people.
Here,
I'm one of those people that don't.
Click on the screen. I want to show you something.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
It says, and I want to read this to my audience here. It says, never thought I'd see Republicans give terror financing Muslims from Qatar a military base on U.S. soil so they can murder Americans. I don't think I'll be voting in 2026. I cannot in good conscience make any excuse for the harboring of jihadis. This is where I draw the line. This is
and this is Laura Loomer.
2017 Trump talking shit about Qatar, how they're funding terrorism and things like that. We could watch it if you want, but I don't think so. People could do it on their own, right?
I agree. Like this is like, you're supposed to be America first, and now we're giving Qatar like a place in the U.S. This makes no sense.
Well, no, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense because, again,
all
you have to do is appease Trump and flatter him and give him stuff, and he'll let you do pretty much whatever. That's it. There's nothing deeper to it. There's no 4D chess moves. There's nothing like that. He got $600 million in a private jet from Qatar, and Qatar wants an airbase, and so he's quid pro quoing them. He's giving them Qatar that. That's it.
Couldn't he just give them like a military base not in the country? Like,
man, I don't think he I don't think he cares, right? I don't think he cares whether or not it's in the country or not. He doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, I don't really. I can't. That this one's a curveball. I don't know what to say to this, except for his ego stroking, basically. You had a thing. I'm gonna do a massive clash segue. You said during a debate that the hypothetical that you had with where you would choose Tim Pool over Hassan for like president, and you said you couldn't actually decide. You couldn't decide. Like, you weren't really leaning one way or the other. You just couldn't decide. Have you changed on that, or?
I haven't thought about it since I said it, because it was a silly hypothetical that has no bearing in reality. And I was simply asked it. I thought about it for a moment, and I was like, you know what? This is too hard. There's too many downsides for both. I'm not going to pick. That's the thought process that went into it.
What about the good sides? Do you see any good sides with Hassan being president?
I can't think of one.
What about Tim Pool?
Also can't think of one. I don't know.
I mean, doesn't he like talk about like wanting to have like smaller government or something like that? Like occasionally?
Yeah, and Hassan talks about wanting to make the world a better place, but neither of them actually do either one of those things.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I can't say for sure. Fine. I would pick Tim Pool because I'm more sympathetic towards Tim Pool, but like I don't
Okay.
know. I think it really just comes to vibes down at that point. Then
Yeah, it is just it. Here, the reason I say it's hard to decide is because I think that both options are a fail state for America, whether it be Hassan or whether it be Tim Pool or someone like one of those people, right? We have failed as a country because we now have someone who does not have any of our interests at heart in a way that they are willing to do things that not even Trump, I don't think, would be willing to do. Like in Hassan, he straight up wants to just kill the landlords, right? Tim Pool, we would be directly run by Russia, right? That would be it, or the highest bidder. In a way, again, that's even worse than Trump.
So this is why I think you believe the whole Russia Tim Pool stuff. Like he's super like a pro-Russian. Is that like your perspective on him?
That is from my interactions with him. Yes, he is pro-Russian.
So does anti-war look like pro-Russian to you?
Not necessarily. There's plenty of people who are anti-war who aren't necessarily pro-Russian. But when he calls the Ukrainians the enemy of the American people, I think that crosses the line from I'm not just anti-war, now I am pro-Russian. Because he doesn't want the war to end. He wants Russia to win.
He wants the war to end, which would make it look like that Russia would win because Russia already has like a bunch of like land that they have, and if they were to end the war right now, Ukraine wouldn't be able to reclaim that land because the war would have like finished. I don't think Tim Pool
considers that a Russian victory, by the way.
Yeah, it would be, but like he's not saying it like he wants that to happen. He's saying that begrudgingly, like that's just what's going to happen. I feel like Tim Pool's anti-war stance is more of a anti-war stance to like just turn everything off, which is dumb. But like that's his stance. I don't think he's pro-Russian.
His advocacy does nothing but help the Russian cause and hurt the Ukrainian cause, and it does nothing but hurt our positions abroad and strengthen the positions of Russia. So whether or not in his heart of hearts he is pro-Russian, his advocacy and what he wants to happen is. So I think we can judge him based on that. And I do. That added to the accusations about him being financed by Russia, indirectly as it may be, right? Whether he knew about it or not, shows that Russia thinks he's pro-Russia.
So, okay. You think, okay. I can kind of see this.
Like Russia thinks he's pro-Russia. Like Putin thinks he's pro-Russia.
So you're not saying that Tim Pool is pro-Russian.
You're
just saying Tim Pool espouts. You're saying that Tim Pool espouts information that is pro-Russian.
Like
basically.
All his advocacy, everything he advocates for and everything he does is going to help Russia, yes.
Okay, and I can kind of understand that because they literally funded people that already espouted information that they liked. So like that was the whole Tenet Media thing. But the thing with the Tenet Media stuff that I find really fishy is that they dropped the indictment and then nothing came out of it.
When did they drop the indictment? Do you know?
That was during the election of 2024.
After the election of 2024.
No, this was before. This was way before,
drop the
in April.
Before. They dropped it after President Trump got elected, I think in December.
I could be having my... I don't know. If it's in December, I think it was way before. I think in April. I think this was way before.
Oh no, we just found out about it in like April, or even after that. I think
maybe I have my timelines wrong, but I thought this whole thing happened way before the election. Like the indictment dropped way before the election.
The dropping of the indictment? No, the drop of the indictment didn't happen. Here, let me check. Now you got me doubting, right? When did indictment against?
I mean, if it dropped, then I would have to rethink that.
Get dropped. Oh, okay, so tenant influencer announced the company is shut down on September 5th. It might have been September. Hold on.
Because I used to watch Tim Pool almost religiously. I still
The
kind of do a little bit.
indictment was announced. Hold on, let me look.
Like back in April and March, right?
I'm checking. Oh, no, the indictment happened on September 4th, 2024. That's when the indictment was not dropped, but dropped into our media ecosphere. They announced it in 2024 of September 4th, 2024. And they didn't drop the indictment until, let me look.
You mean drop it, not like they completely stopped talking about it. You mean dropped it as in like it actually came officially?
Yes, they
Okay.
made the indictment in 2024 on September 4th. They did drop it later, as in they stopped looking into it, right? But that was, I believe, in December, but I'm looking for the exact date now. If you guys have it, please send it to me because I can't find it.
Yeah, because the reason I said that it happened before is because Tim Pool was really, really pissed off that they dropped this thing right before the election to happen as like a smear campaign. That's like his reading of it.
I'm sure
And
that's
he
his
was,
reading of it, but
I mean, but like he's literally working with the FBI for that stuff, and he was like interviewed. So like, like why would he lie about the timeline there?
what did he say the timeline was?
He said that it happened before the election, and he thinks it's like a smear campaign.
Yes,
which it
they
did.
made the indictment before the election on September 4th, which is before the election. But his
to kind of
allegation
smear
that it was a
Trump.
smear campaign, I don't think it was because of the evidence that was presented. I read the indictment when it came out, right? The evidence is
I mean, but
fairly
like
solid.
literally everyone that brings it up is like, oh, Tim Pool. Oh, you mean the Russian guy, the guy that got funded by Russian?
Yeah. But again,
Like I would say that's like a smear campaign. And every other, it was not just Tim Pool. It was a bunch of people
because
that
they were being funded
liked.
indirectly by Russia.
Yeah,
that's not
but
a smear
they were
campaign. That's
all,
what happened.
Yeah, but all of them were pro-Trump. Every single one of them.
Crazy, huh?
I mean, yeah, you see it as like, oh, look, yeah, all the people that are
Crazy,
pro-Russian are seeing that, but like, you
it's
see how
really weird how
like,
all the pro-Russian guys are also pro-Trump. Crazy, huh?
So, but you see how this could be like spun as like a smear campaign. Look, like
I know
they
they're
make the
trying to spin it
accusation.
as a smear campaign, but
Yeah,
it's
see,
not working.
See, this factoid that I said, in my mind, this is just damning on like, obviously they just did this to make him seem.
You said you were wrong about. You said that the indictment dropped back in April and that they dropped it as in got rid of it way before the election.
No,
you weren't right on any of that.
No, the April, I got confused on the April thing. The April thing was they finished the case the next year, April. Sorry.
Okay.
Like I remember that time by mistake.
So again, let's just acknowledge that you were wrong about when the indictment was made. You were wrong about when they dropped the indictment, as in got rid of it, right? You've been wrong on the facts of this. So again,
my whole point was that it happened before the election because it was like a spirit. Like the dates were a little fuzzy. Yes, that's true. I got the dates wrong specifically, but I meant my overall point was literally that it happened before the election because it was a kind of like it looked like a smear campaign. But like the factoid of all the people being Russia, all the pro-Russia people, I guess, all supporting Trump, you see, like, I see that as like, well, they're trying to make them look like they're Russian, but you see it as like, oh no, see, they are Russian, and that's why Russia's supporting them. And I'm saying we see that fact in different ways, is basically what I'm saying.
Okay, just real quick, Confluence. I said that they dropped the case as in they stopped investigating. I think that we're mixing up the term dropped here.
Yeah, I got confused. Sorry.
Again, that the indictment dropped as in we got to know about it on September 4th, which is correct. But when I said dropped, I mean they dropped the case, as in we're no longer investigating into this.
Yeah, I tried.
We're good on this. Are we good?
Yeah.
One more question. I'm gonna let you go because I have other callers. What's with your poster, buddy? The MLK, and who else is in there? Can you move your camera so we can see? There's a third person.
It's RFK. It's RFK.
RFK, like.
Let's see.
Let's look. I want to see. Okay,
one.
no, that's JFK. That's not
JFK.
RFK.
See, that's why I don't have him in the picture.
Again, about your poster.
I don't have. I don't have it in the picture because I don't really know too much about him. I just saw the Martin Luther King and the Charlie Kirk, and I'm like, whatever. He's on there. I'll just cut it off.
So all you wanted was the.
This connection right here.
Where did you see this poster? Why did you put it up? I'm curious.
I put it up mostly just to trigger a lot of people, but I mostly put it up because the left sees MLK as like an MLK. The right sees Charlie Kirk as like the same kind of.
Do you see Charlie Kirk as MLK? Do you think that they're in the same category?
I think they're roughly in the same category.
Why?
With different perspectives. Because the whole point of Charlie Kirk is that he wanted to go to college campuses and like talk things out and debate and do everything with nonviolence. Nonviolence. That's the connection point here. It might not be I feel like that's a big connection point between, because whenever I think of Martin Luther King Jr., I think of his whole speech of where he wants to be nonviolent protest, nonviolent speech. That's what he wanted. So I think the nonviolence between both of them, how the right sees Charlie Kirk as like that type of figure. And honestly, if the right sees Charlie Kirk as like an MLK figure, a lot of them are going to want to defuse the situation because they don't want to destroy Charlie Kirk's like the thing.
MLK, to be clear, fought for decades, not just for nonviolence, but for civil rights for an oppressed group at that time, who I think we could all agree back in the 50s and the 60s, African Americans were an oppressed group. You had Jim Crow laws. They couldn't even sit in the same diners as white people, right? MLK worked for decades to fix that problem, became the leader of the movement. Yes, he was nonviolent. Good. That was a great thing. And he was very successful in the movement.
And that was a big thing, right?
Charlie Kirk, okay? Yeah, that was a big thing. Charlie Kirk was a podcaster who made money getting clips from college kids and spitting it up on the internet to push a right-wing agenda. These are not at all the same.
I mean, if you want to like categorize him as like he's just a right-wing agenda, then sure. It obviously sounds like.
Would you not say that Charlie Kirk's agenda? Well, let me ask: what civil or human rights was Charlie Kirk known for fighting for?
I mean, I'm not comparing him on the civil rights part. I'm comparing them specifically on the nonviolent part.
Okay. Well, I'm nonviolent too. So I guess I can be on that poster too. I guess we can all be. Everyone who has said nonviolent.
You're not. You didn't get deleted by a bullet, and you don't have a massive podcast or a massive influence compared to the two.
Also, do you not know who JFK is? Like,
I mean, I know of him. Like, he's like the president that got shot, right?
What else did he do?
That's
all you know about him. Okay.
Now. Yep.
Buddy, thanks for calling in. I'm going insane. I'm going to go insane. Oh, God. Look, first of all, not knowing that that's JFK on your poster, I don't know what else to do. How do I reach these kids? How do I reach these kids? How do I communicate with someone? I look. There are things that I don't know. This is just true. The Gaston flag, I didn't know it was called the Gaston flag. I knew what the flag was. I just didn't know the term for it. I'd seen it before. I knew what it represented. I didn't know it was called the Gaston flag. Made me look a little dumb. but we're good. We learn, we grow. I think that not knowing who JFK is though is on a different level than that. Especially if you have it hanging in your room. It's like well, I don't know what flag this is. It's a country flag. I thought it looked cool, but I don't know what country it's from. Like, it would be that level of thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. But no, that was a good talk. Yeah, look, Charlie Kirk should not have been killed. It was a tragedy what happened to him. He was assassinated, and I hope the killer faces justice. But he's no Martin Luther King Jr. He's not even near that level. He was a podcaster who made clips on the internet for money. That's it. And he pushed a right-wing agenda. But that was secondary to the money, to be clear. Okay, $10 from Aeon to say, people thought Obama was the Antichrist, but Trump by far seems more like the sort of guy who, if he was in heaven, might think he's better than God and try to convince a third of the population that he is. I don't know. I won't speak to that. I won't speak to that. Hello, you're live, sir.
Is it me?
It is you.
Oh, hi there.
Hey, long time no see. What's up, brother?
Let me turn that off. I'm trying to get something.
Waiting on you.
I'm sorry. It was doing double voice. I apologize.
Okay.
Long time. Let's see. First, Wick, how dare you? How dare you go into that guy's house and put that poster up to make him look like an idiot? How dare you do that on a show just for likes and stuff?
And to a black man too, right? That's crazy. It's racist.
God. Oh my God. Okay, so I have a weird concept. Until we can bring people back from the dead to their normal form, I don't vote for killing anyone.
Okay.
That's just me personally. Also,
based,
once you're dead,
I guess. No.
I mean, it's, if you're going to take godlike powers, if you believe in God or whatever, you have to have the full range. You can't just do the first part.
Look, to be clear, I think certain people deserve to die. But these people are like terrorists. These people are like, Putin, the Russian soldiers who serve Putin, and even the Russian soldiers, I wouldn't say they deserve to die necessarily, right? Like they're victims of Russia just as much as the Ukrainians are in certain ways. But like, there's certain, and I take no pleasure in it either. But there are certain people who just need to be removed.
The basic agrarian, when we became civilized and we entered the cities, we individually gave up the right to kill people. That's the right we had way back when. We could kill somebody if they did something wrong. So for that reason, I fall within that range. I completely and totally agree with what you said. Now, there's one thing other I want to add. Just because you die or how you die doesn't make you a good person.
I also agree, right?
How you lived. I'm trying to say this because there are people who were on the left side and the right side who all of a sudden became saints. They weren't.
Yeah, like George Floyd, they got sainted. No, he was a victim, and he did some bad things, but he shouldn't have been killed, frankly. But he was.
Yeah.
But making him a martyr was weird. Making Charlie Kirk a martyr, also weird. Neither of them are martyrs. So
right. The other thing I find interesting, the Nobel Prize. Nominations are from September through late January. So I don't understand complaining. I do understand Obama really didn't do anything deserving a Nobel Prize when he won it.
No, I can agree with that, yeah.
And some people question whether he deserved it after his use of drones versus troops.
Sure, you can.
So there's
I think
there's
it's fair to criticize the Nobel Commission for granting someone who hadn't earned it a Nobel Prize. No, I think that's fair.
yeah. So and right now, I keep a running count. I'm trying to figure out what year in the 1930s we are currently at.
Oh, like
Are we at
32,
34 yet,
33,
or
35.
are we? Yeah, I try and gauge where we are in the system. I mean, I talk to people who are going like, we've it's not legal. He would never do it. And I'm going, it's not legal unless it's only not legal if the courts don't let it to do it until the Supreme Court decides it's in gray area. So it's like, if there was 9 people leftists on the Supreme Court, I feel decent. Except that could become another crisis because he'd lose everything. So here's the way I say. Right now, everyone thinks the amount of how do I say this without being correct? Objects that shoot projectiles.
Why are you trying not to be correct? You should be correct.
No, I'm trying to be correct. I'm trying to be TOS.
Oh, what are
Okay.
you? Hold on. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that people who are more conservative think they own all those things, and people on the left don't own any of those things.
Oh, you're saying, I think that that's perfectly tossed to say that the right thinks they have all the guns and that the left has no guns. And if it came to a war or a civil conflict, that the right would just win. And they're wrong about that, frankly. But yeah, that's a common thing to think.
I'm trying to be, I'm a guest, so I'm trying to make sure I don't get any issues.
I do appreciate you trying, but.
What was I going to say? And the other thing is, I don't think AK is going to do much damage to a Predator drone.
Well, here's the thing. I agree that we live in an age where if the U.S. military wanted to go against some sort of militia group or, like the Proud Boys or Antifa or some other thing, and they didn't care about how it looked, the military would just win. It wouldn't be close. Here's the thing, though. I think that we've seen through the Ukraine-Russian war that you can do a lot with very, very inexpensive drones that can be very, very lethal. And so I don't know if while an AK-47 might not stop a Predator drone, I don't know if our current government has... Yeah, I don't know if we have real defense against people with their pocket $3,000 IED drones, right? Like, I think they could do a lot of damage, logistical damage and things like that. It'd be a hard fight. But yeah, guns specifically wouldn't be the eliminating factor in this. It wouldn't be the deciding factor.
Quick change of subject. Did you see MTG with Wolf Blitzer and whoever on CNN the other day?
I did not.
Okay. She looked like a political genius.
I know. I heard about it. Like, it was crazy. But
I think that was the beginning of her presidential run for 2032.
You think so? Who do you think they're gonna? Who do you think's gonna run for Republicans in 2028?
I don't know, but it's going to be a cluster because he'll be gone. Well, there's a good chance, based on statistics and his health, that Vance will be president by then, because he's not that healthy of a guy. Nothing bad will happen. Other needs. It just you can only eat
I get it. He's old,
fillet of fish in your life.
Yes.
Yeah. So and he's having things on his hands or certain medical. He's having a lot of things that could be things or could be not be things. But so I think the run. Sorry, I think the run in 2028 is going to be a cluster because Republicans may want to come back from being MAGA because MAGA is Trump. No
I
one
think
else
it'll
can
be
do what
I
Trump
think it'll
does.
be Vance versus DeSantis, and I don't know who wins. They might have a couple other runners in there, but I think those are the two big ones. But it's hard to
Yeah.
say right now. I can't really give you a prognostication on it. But if I had to guess, it'd be between Vance and DeSantis.
That's the reason why I think she would wait. If she's going to run, she would wait until 2032 because it'll be cleared out. And if Democrats actually win, they've shown their ability to be stupid enough that they do 4 years and not get anything really done. Um, because I mean, you have power, you use it, but
We'll
they
see.
didn't, and I understand why. Because they played by the rules. Obama first 2 years, they played by the rules. They didn't nuke the filibuster, and if they had nuked the filibuster, we'd have Medicare for all right now.
Well,
We'd have a lot
I
of
don't know
other
about. We
things.
would also have lost Obamacare by now.
Well, we would have lost. The problem is, with 8 years of Medicare for all, would people revolt once you have something, give people something, they don't like losing it. So that's the only reason.
We'll
The only
see.
reason, you give benefits like Medicare. You don't touch Medicare. You really touch Medicare. It's a third rail for a reason. You're going to get, people will rise up against it. Medicaid is a little different because it's people who they're less socially economic, and because they're poor, you don't get it. It's not grandma and grandpa. It's the poor people, which is totally wrong and bad. But people can sometimes think, well, if they had worked harder, and when they ever hear bootstraps, well, give me some boots. Let me get some boots before you tell me to use my bootstraps.
Wolfglen,
So,
thank you for calling in.
oh,
We do have a bit of a
okay,
line. You have one more
okay,
thought, and then we gotta let you go.
okay. No, the
To the void. Yeah, it's look. So first of all, I understand wanting to be anti-violence. I think that's a good thing, but there are times when people just need to die. It's just true. If there's an active shooter, you stop that shooter, and if that requires you to take them out, you take them out. If there is a group of terrorists who are waging war, holding hostages, bombing people, take them out. I don't relish it. It's weird to celebrate it. It's weird to be like, hell yeah, brother, let's go kill. Let's warheads on foreheads, brother, yeah. No, I cringe. But no, there's some certain people who just, you can't stop them on any other way, and they just need to be stopped. It's frank. Gotta be real with it. That said, we have rules of engagement for a reason. And I think that we need to be very careful in how we do exercise force so we can get the right targets. And that is, I think, what we should be really doing. Now, the death penalty is different. The death penalty is when we've already captured the guy, like the guy or the girl or whatever is already in jail. We have to decide whether or not we're going to kill them or not. I am anti-death penalty because I think that the problem has been solved, and the death penalty just seems, well, first of all, we have a history of not getting it right. I think 1 in 8 people were oopsied. I could be wrong on my statistics there, right? And by oopsied, I mean we got the wrong guy there, or evidence came out later after they had been killed by the state that, they might not have been guilty. So we don't have a really good track record on that, okay? And it's really something that you want to get right. Again, if this were a situation where there was an active danger, then you have to do what you have to do. But when they're already in jail and they're rotting in prison, I don't know. I don't support the death penalty. Flower says, doesn't the death penalty protect people from law enforcement violence? How so? What's your argument there? I don't know. Let's bring in a guy or someone. Hello, you're live. Caller, hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, what do you got for us?
I gotta stop. I gotta stop the YouTube.
Yeah, just mute it. Sorry, there's an echo until you do.
Yeah, I was off in another tab when you pulled me up. I thought somebody else would go. I sort of just clicked on this by whim. You've been coming up in my feed, and I've seen you in some places, but I'm not really sure what you're about, what you're doing. But since you popped up, and
I'm not sure either. To be clear, I have no idea what I'm doing. But go ahead.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. So, free speech, I'm for that. I think that's a good idea. Thumbs up for free speech. Death penalty, in some extreme cases, yeah.
What cases?
Well, I was watching a video the other night about a woman who lured a man to her apartment and tortured him for 3 days and then murdered him, dismembered his body. She pulled out his teeth while he was alive. She pounded nails into his skull, and then she cut him up like a chicken. And she was completely unrepentant and, in fact, jubilant. Said her only regret was that she didn't get to torture him longer.
Pretty fucked up.
That person doesn't deserve to live anymore. And there's nothing served by keeping her alive, because she's just gone. There's just complete psychopath, completely disconnected from reality.
So the problem I would have, even in a case as extreme as this, right? So even if we know 100% that this person did it, they confess to it, they're guilty as sin, when we make policy and when we make law and we try to craft something that's only going to get the 100% guilty people, we fail at it. So I would rather this person spend the rest of their life rotting in a cell than the potential for another person who, where it isn't as clear as this, to accidentally get killed when they should not. And so that is my stance against the death penalty, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. So again,
I can see it,
process.
but I would.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
It's about process, right? And when we create processes in the government with laws and how we enforce them, it's important to understand how those processes can be abused and how they can go wrong and what remedies they exist if we get it wrong. When it comes to the death penalty, there is no remedy if we get it wrong. There's no correction that we can actually make. If we accidentally take someone's life in this system that should not have had their life taken by the state, we can't make it up to them, right? They're just gone. And so again, this is why I am anti-death penalty, is because again, we've just shown a poor ability to judge these things or to create law or legislation that only gets the people who are 100% guilty.
Okay. What about the men in crisis part? Are men in crisis? I don't think men are in crisis.
So I read a tweet. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. Give me a second. I think it's worth talking about. And I'm actually going to have a whole panel on this next week if I can make it, right? But basically, sorry, here it is. I'm going to bring it up on screen so you can look at it. Everyone can see. I saw this tweet, 66,000 likes, okay? So it's not a little bit. It says, I hate the way y'all coddle men. They're not kids, I assure you. They know exactly what they're doing. And please stop thanking them for behaving like normal humans OMG. And I thought about that. And I thought about how society, not just this lady, right, but people in general, just don't take men's problems seriously. If you were to show any sort of compassion or empathy towards men, there is a sizable portion of the population who will see you as coddling them. I don't think that men are coddled in the United States. I don't think that men are coddled, right, in our Western society. And when it's a little clickbaity, the title "Men in Crisis," right? But this is what I'm referring to. Is we have men who have suicide rates that are through the roof, right? Are just have no support or very little support when it comes to society, and that's why I put it up there. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't. These are the facts that I'm not aware of, and I'm not aware of this social condition. So I don't know if it's true that men are suiciding or unaliving themselves, and I don't know that. I suspect it's for other reasons than what people probably think it is. It's probably different than that. I think that the reasons that people often cite as explaining why they do things are really just rationalizations that they make up afterwards and not the actual cause. The actual cause could be something else. I see men as having a tremendous amount of power and privilege in today's society. So I just don't see how they could possibly be in any kind of crisis. I just don't see it.
I unfortunately do. But it's something to take in. Like it's. I understand why you see it less. I do, because men are less likely to talk about their problems because they know that no one will listen. So why speak when you know that no one's going to listen? And if you do speak, they're just going to call you entitled. They're going to call you, oh, look, it's the white man again speaking about his problems. Look at him. Look at that little crybaby. And I think that men just have stopped talking about it. Now, that isn't to say that we need to oppress women now, right? Like, that's not the answer to this problem. This isn't to say that men are being genocided or whatever. That's not happening. But I do think that there is a conversation to be had about how little social and cultural support men have in America. It's just almost non-existent.
What is? See, I guess I don't know. I'm not in a position to know about these things. So what support are they missing?
So if I were to be how many women's victim shelters do you know exist in America, roughly? Can you take a guess?
I don't know how many, but I've made use of one.
Yeah, there's thousands, right? But for men, there's very little. And it's much harder as a man to get into one of these things if you need it. And in fact, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a story. Okay, this is a true story. I knew a buddy of mine, okay? This was years ago. He was with a woman, okay? They just started kind of dating, talking, I don't know what you'd call it. Anyway, they went to a room, right? And this is a story he tells, and I believe him, right? Because I know he's a trustworthy guy. The woman came on to him, and he didn't want to, and she wouldn't take no for an answer. And so eventually he pushed her, and he pushed her hard enough that she fell backwards. She hit her head. I'm not sure if it was on the bedstand or on the closet. Anyway, she got a big bruise. So she called the cops, and he went to jail.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
No.
Why?
He assaulted her.
Hold on. She was trying to sexually molest this guy. He pushed her off to stop her from doing that.
Yeah.
He did not assault.
He did. He pushed her and caused her an injury. If it was the other way around, I'd say the same thing.
No way you believe this. Of course he did not intend to cause her injury. He was trying to stop her from raping him.
Well, I don't think she would have the ability to do that.
Hold on. You don't think a woman can rape a man?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So, if a woman
I think
gets you a drink,
there are edge cases. I think there might be edge cases.
and you get
that
roofied
might-
as a man, and then you wake up the next day, and she's on top of you. Okay. Did you get
Yeah.
raped?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So a woman can rape a man. We know this can be the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
And also,
But you
also,
kinda
just
changed
let
the
me
scenario,
finish,
dude.
and you can respond, and I promise I'll let you have your say. When people are put in situations, right, where it's extremely traumatic or uncomfortable, our bodies respond in different ways. Some people freeze up. They don't want it to happen, but they freeze up, and they may be bigger, they may be stronger, they may be more tough, but they flight or fight response, and they kind of get paralyzed. And a woman does their thing, and your body responds, right, as a guy, whether you want it to or not. Sometimes I would consider that rape.
Okay,
I'm done. You
I'm
can
not
respond.
sure I understand, but that's really a different scenario than what you initially presented, which is a woman physically dominating a man and physically sexually assaulting him. And I just don't see how that's possible.
Okay, well, we just agree to
Yeah.
disagree. I guess it is
Well,
absolutely possible. I think a woman can absolutely, because men don't want to, especially if a man doesn't want to get arrested or want to hurt her because he knows how it will look.
yeah, but he can always push her away.
He did, and he went to jail. Like, I don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you. Okay, anyway, thanks for calling in.
He did push her away then.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Men are stronger than women, dude.
Okay, yes. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
I can't do it, gang. I can't do it. Oh boy. This is why we need to have this panel, bros. People are like, why are you talking about this in the year of our Lord 2025? This is why. There are people who unironically believe this, who unironically believe that a woman cannot physically overpower and rape a man. And you're correct, Zero Fox. He just told a story of a woman who overpowered and tortured a man for 3 days. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But again, it's a real story. My buddy, again, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. But I believe him when he says this because I know him. With a woman, the woman tried something he didn't want. She wouldn't take no. She kept coming, basically. And he eventually pushed her, shoved her. She fell down. She hit her head, and he went to jail. It wasn't for very long, right? But still. Brenda Create says, I'm not a guy, by the way. Fair enough. I'm sorry. I apologize. Guy she tortured was wheelchair bound. Well, maybe, but still. Okay, you're live. What do you got?
Howdy. Let me turn off my YouTube thing. Howdy. How you been, Wick?
Oh, I've been, I'm hanging in there, let's say. How are you?
Could be better. Could be worse.
True.
On your point about the men in crisis, I wouldn't say it's like a complete crisis, but there's definitely several issues that are bubbling up and could eventually lead to a larger crisis, I'd say. Like, definitely men's suicide is way higher than many would like it to be comfortably be.
Hold on.
Especially-
What rate would you be comfortable with? Just
I
curious.
wouldn't. I,
It's a weird way to phrase it. That's all I'm saying. Like, well, it's a little higher than I'm comfortable with. Okay, well, that implies like, okay, how high
Yeah,
of
yeah,
a
yeah.
rate are
Yeah.
you comfortable
Bad,
with?
bad wording on my part then. It's definitely exuberantly high, to say the least. Like, especially when we compare it to like the rates and women are committing suicide.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and like to your point, yeah, there's not many crisis centers for like men's issues, and I'd say like kind of like we saw, men's issues just aren't taken as seriously since, like you said, we often don't talk about them because we often feel like nobody's going to listen when we talk about them, and it's like, yeah, men get overpowered too. Like when we look at so many school teachers that end up sexually abusing
Okay, that's
younger
such a
males.
weird phenomenon. I don't know if like just on that note, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah, no.
this phenomenon that I've seen, I don't know if it's just being reported on more or if I'm just noticing it more, or if it's actually increasing the amount of like 25, 30-year-old teachers who are raping 16, 15, 14-year-old boys who they have as students is wild. That's
It's
crazy.
not a It's definitely not a new phenomenon. It's kind of more being reported on, so like it's more becoming conscious in the zeitgeist.
I
So
think
to say.
also they're probably getting punished for it now more, where before they wouldn't be. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because now people are more aware of it and like are more willing to actually like prosecute on these things. Because like when you think back then, people would joke about like, haha, I wish that was me. And even now they still do that, and it's kind of gross.
It is a little gross.
Like I don't no, I've known people and like I've had my own experiences. I wouldn't say I'd be jealous of myself, and that's kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it's other than that, I I did have a little contention on the death penalty thing.
Okay.
I think the death penalty should remain. There probably should be some reform on how exactly we go about it. Like, I'd say we should allow definitely time for appeals before we actually get to the date. But I think for the most part,
I mean, like
it's
currently, there's years of appeals processes we go through, right? Like for most
yeah,
states, and to be clear, it varies state to state on whether the death penalty exists, how it's implemented, and even what sort of death penalty they can administer. As I understand it, and I'm no legal expert, but as I understand it, most states with the death penalty, there are like mandatory appeals processes, and these processes take years. But even with these in place, there are still incidents where we just get it wrong. And there is no recompense, as I was saying, for getting it wrong. And so in that like context, it just, yeah, it's crazy that we still
not yet,
have it.
not yet. I think sometimes that is in a way inevitable. We should definitely try to keep that number 0. Absolutely.
Yeah, what number are you
But
comfortable with?
and no. I would as low as possible.
Well, 0 is as low as possible if we get rid of it, right? Because again, we're not talking about the getting rid of it isn't like letting these people back out on the street, right? That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm not advocating that they spend their lives in some kind of resort. They should be, again, given the basics and nothing else, in a cell for the rest of their life. If, again, they commit such horrific crimes that we think that they've lost the right to be part of society forever. But when it comes to, but with that, if it turns out later that, oops, there was evidence that we missed, they're actually not guilty, or not guilty to the level that would require this kind of punishment. If they're still alive, we can fix that, right? We can get justice for them to some extent, right? We can recompensate them for their time we've taken from them. There are remedies. There's no remedy once we do the deed. Once we kill them, there's none.
I'd say I'm just not as sympathetic to the anti-death penalty side, mainly because of how the Innocence Project, quote unquote, kind of just basically defrauds the justice system into allowing many violent people out back into the streets because they pose themselves as like trying to get innocent people off when they're just anti-death penalty and just want to get people lowered from the death penalty to like life in prison. But also, I think there is a point where society has no obligation to allowing people to live. Like, yeah, there's an obligation to remove people from society permanently, and then at some point, I think that permanent removal does also mean death. Like you said, some people do just deserve to die.
Sure,
and then
and in the heat of the moment and things like that, I think that's fair. But we're talking about a situation where they've been the potential harm that they were going to do is gone, right? They're no longer a threat to society because we have captured them and we have put them in a cell. Under those circumstances, I think it's perfectly fine to not kill them. And it's better to not kill them, again, for the reasons I outlined. We're not perfect. There exist chances of error, no matter how small. And in that case, we don't want that blood on our hands. That's all I'm saying.
Understand. I think some people definitely should just be put down anyways. Like, I'd say people with definitely more dangerous ideals, like the actual terrorists and stuff like that. Yeah, that's someone we would say, I think most people would say, are comfortable with the death penalty for.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
That in the cases of, say, someone who's a terrorist, someone who ideates violence to a point that they spread their teachings like that, I think there's a point where we just have to turn off a brain completely.
Okay, well, we just disagree, I guess. Thank you for calling in.
No worries.
I'm gonna let you
no worries. Take care, brother.
Okay, bye. Oh, what a caller. Okay, no, one of the more reasonable people. Hello, you're live.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, what's up, Zephyr?
How are you doing?
Oh, better now that you're here. What's up?
Oh, that's so nice. That's like one of the best things I've heard today.
Wow, your day's been pretty shitty, huh?
No, I mean, in general, it's actually a very nice thing to hear on any day. And
Aww.
so,
What you got? What you got,
all right. I'm not here to talk about men's crisis. I actually want to discuss a little bit more sort of politics with you.
Please.
So I've been seeing a little bit of like not a trend, but like a sort of conversational sort of topics in left-wing circles where we are discussing things like maybe like Trump won't survive until the end of his presidency, things like that. And I'm here to somewhat challenge those opinions.
Okay.
I think
like to be clear, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but he is old and like
right. No, I'm talking about sort of politics and not
chance.
medical. Yeah. I'm talking more sort of political and not medical.
Okay.
In the sense that I think that Trump surviving until 2028 is probably the better outcome than him kind of passing away in like 2027 and having JD Vance for a year or two.
I actually might agree with you, but maybe for a different reason. Give your argument, then we'll see if we match. But there is an argument you could be making right now that would be like, yeah, that's true. But let's see if you make it. Go ahead.
Right. My argument is basically that JD Vance is a sad little pathetic man, and to attain the validation of MAGA, which obviously Trump is way more popular in MAGA than JD Vance will ever be, I think JD Vance will go way more extreme in the little bit of time that he has.
Okay. Maybe, but I don't know if JD Vance could hold the coalition together, right? So he might try, but without, like, one of the things that Trump has done that has been successful for him is that he has pared away any dissenters. So now he has filled his cabinets and his all the processes with yes men to the extent he possibly could. JD Vance would not have that same level of yes men mentality, right? Behind him. He
That's
just
my
would.
point. My point is to get their validation. He would obviously listen to them, and I think to get the base's validation, he would probably go even more extreme.
I think they would fracture immediately. At Trump's death, MAGA fractures almost immediately. Because right now you can even see the fractures forming, right, between the various coalitions that are together. Trump holds them together, but if Trump were to pass in office, I think that shatters. Now, unless, and here's my argument for why it would be bad. There is no way on God's green earth that if Trump died of natural causes, of a heart attack or an aneurysm or just ill health because he was old, that most of MAGA would believe that. They would immediately say it was some leftist assassin or some deep state plot. Half of them would say the Jews did it immediately. And there would be no convincing them otherwise. No amount of facts, no amount of evidence would ever convince them.
They would
that
say
it
he
was
got
otherwise.
Epsteined or something.
Yes, they would absolutely say he got removed by the deep state, right? Or by, Israel got to him, or pick your poison. Antifa secret agents got to him, right? And they would never look at Kirk. Look at how Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and a bunch of others are pushing this conspiracy theory that it wasn't Tyler Robinson that killed him, but it was a secret other, and Tyler Robinson's just a patsy, right? Like, these people don't exist in a world of facts and evidence. They would immediately be talking about, okay, who killed Trump, and that would be the thing. And I think that breaks us as a country. I think that immediately breaks us in a real way that I don't know if we can recover from ever, right?
And that kind of brings to the second point that I want to discuss, which is there's another trend that is kind of coming up, is that, once Trump goes away, MAGA is going to dissipate, which I don't think is true. I think they
not
might
dissipate, but it fractures. And so
sure, but
there are
I
different
don't think that it's going to be
that we consider MAGA that would immediately start fighting for influence and control. And I could be wrong, but my read is that they don't, there's just no glue there that holds them together. It just isn't. And, or whatever it is, it's much weaker than Trump. And I think they just eat each other.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you on
Go ahead.
With a couple points there. So first of all, I agree that maybe in 2028 they're weak, they're fractured if Trump were to pass away or not run in 2028. But I don't think it disappears. The far right, through Trump, has so much traction right now. They're probably going to obviously going to come back in 2032. And the only question, if they can find another figure who has enough charisma, to attract their part of the coalition. Right? If you remember 2016, Trump essentially came out of, nobody was expecting Trump to run, right? I think he announced it in late 2015.
I think
right?
There were murmurings because remember he was behind the birther movement. Do you remember that?
Right, but from what I remember, Trump essentially shot up. Nobody thought he had any political pull. Nobody thought
he would win. That's true. No one thought he would win the nomination until after, I want to say maybe the first or the second debate. There was one of the debates where they were like, "Oh, he might actually pull this off." And even then, it took a while for people to really see the writing on the wall. But yes, him winning even the nomination was shocking. And him winning the election in 2016 was shocking even to him. He didn't think he would win, right? But yeah.
Yep. So what I guess my main point is that things can change really quickly.
They can.
And if and they are laying the groundwork for people like Donald Trump Jr., for people like Elon Musk. There are we might not even know who that person might be, but we shouldn't take this lightly. All I'm saying is that Trump is not the final boss. He's probably the first boss.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think that yes, there will be challenges, and we might even have a greater challenge later on down the line. When it comes to MAGA specifically, I just disagree. I think that Trump, that's pretty much it for the MAGA movement being a coherent political force. Now, that said, it's still going to be very influential on right-wing politics as a style of politics, right? As a style
Yep.
of gaining and exercising and wielding power. But as a cohesive political movement, I don't like it's barely a coherent political movement now, right? Without Trump, I just don't think it has the gumption. I don't think it goes anywhere.
I'd like to agree, but yeah,
I
you
could
can
be wrong.
call me like a glass half empty kind of guy.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong on that kind of thing before. But yeah, again, JD Vance. No, I don't think he pulls it together. Vivek Ramaswamy. No. DeSantis. No, they hate him. Nikki Haley. They hate her. I can't think of like Stephen Miller. No. Elon Musk. No. Right. I'm just trying to think who would be their guy. Right. And I can't think of one.
I mean, do you really think that Elon Musk doesn't have enough pull to run for president?
I know he doesn't.
I don't know. Like he's not a naturalized citizen, so that probably stops him from, or not a naturalized. He's not.
No, I know what you mean.
It wasn't born here, so that probably stops him, right?
Yeah, I just don't think he has. Even if that wasn't the case, I don't think he would. I don't think he's respected enough to actually be more than a money bags, unfortunately, for him.
I think when the sort of media apparatus starts kicking in, like everything becomes positive. Everything becomes, the time he got punched by Stephen Miller, he was just trying to protect the country. They just had differing opinions.
Possible.
Which is good. Everything can change overnight.
It can, and I don't discount that. But if I'm looking at this today, like what the status is today on the ground, I think that, again, as soon as Trump goes, there is an immediate fight for power and influence and who will be the next standard bearer. And that fight is going to be vicious, and I think it's going to last a while. And I think if I had to guess, which is the purpose of this discussion, right? I think it will permanently fracture into at least 3 groups, which will probably not want to work together that much. But who knows?
I hope so. Again, like I will always want to hope for sensible policies. Just gonna leave with the fact that I do think that the Democrats are gonna win 2026 and 2028, unless Trump does some insurrection stuff. But we should always be prepared. Like we've seen the past decade, and Trump. I do think we should be on our toes. Trump may not be the final boss of this movement.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's all we can do. Thanks for calling in, brother.
All right, thank you as well.
Yeah, like 2026. First of all, I believe. Look, I'm not a doomer, and I'm not one of those guys who thinks that we're not going to have elections in 2026. I think we absolutely are going to have elections in 2026. I think that the midterms are going to be our last best hope, right? To kind of get this country back on track. And I think we'll win. I think that looking at the state of politics today, I think it's very clear the Democrats have momentum. I think that the Democrats are going to be the favored to win the House. And they're probably also going to take the Senate, but that's a little different because there's what seats are up for grabs in 2026. So it's going to be a big influential part of that. MAGA, on the other hand, is trending in the opposite direction. Let's say that. People are fleeing away from Trump's policies. He's underwater on approval rating in every single policy, even immigration, right, which is his best one. He's still underwater in approval. And we can look at how many of just Trump voters are just sick, fed up, tired of his just constant bullshit. And I've seen sentiments expressed not only online but in my real life from people who I know who voted MAGA, right? Who are just not they're not happy with how the world's going right now. They're not happy with the direction that the country's in. They do not like it. And I think that they're going to punish this administration in the ballot box in 2026. I think they absolutely are. But we'll see, right? Maybe I'm wrong, and there's a lot of time between now and then. So it's a year away, and a lot can happen in a year. And never underestimate the Democrats' ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. That's all I'm saying, okay? Like, if anyone can fuck this up, it's the Democrats. Let's be real. Hello.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, living life. How you doing, Harris?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
What you got for us today?
About the topic?
Or about anything. It's your call, man. It's your minutes. Yeah, it's your time to shine. What do you want to talk about?
I was wondering if you wanted to host a mini panel, mini debate thing about circumcision.
Sure. When?
I don't know. Whenever. It's your schedule.
What about it?
Well, I'm having a boy, right?
Oh, congratulations.
And this has become a very big point of contention between me and my wife.
Oh shit! You want me to host a debate between people? I'm assuming not you and your wife, right?
The snippers and the non-snippers.
So
I don't even want to be a part of it, really.
What side are you on? Just out of curiosity.
The natural, I think.
Okay. The
it's funny.
Foreskin forerunners. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. Most out of people I've asked about it, everyone who thinks like you should just leave it are the men, and everyone who says to snip them are the women.
Why do you think that why? Well, what's the argument from your wife? Why does she want to give him the old snippy snip?
Well, she's pretty Catholic and it's tradition, and it is easier to like clean and maintain, but
is it?
And it can lead to infections. So there's arguments. It's all going to come down to
maintain if I cut my ear off too. I could just clean it much easier, right? But I don't know if I want to do that.
It's a good point.
But no, I'll absolutely set this up for you, man. Find me people who would argue against or argue for circumcision, though. That's going to be the hard one to find, I think.
Well, let's see here. Let me
if you
take
can
a look
find
in
at
YouTube
least
chat
two people,
here, I'm sure I can find somebody.
At least two people who think circumcision is something that should be done. Yeah, I'm more than happy to host this next week sometime.
Okay. All right, cool, man.
I'll help you.
That's about it.
Help you decide. Will you agree to abide by the results of the debate?
I will, but it's not just my decision.
I suppose.
So my ideal thing to do would be to leave him alone, and then when he's a teenager, hey man, you can get this done if you want. But by then it's a way bigger it's not an operation, but it's a bigger procedure, obviously.
A little bit. Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, no, anyway. I can do that for you. Help me find the people, and I'll get you. You bring them to me, and I'll make them content. Okay. Bring me the people, and I'll get them people to argue against them. And we'll set it up for me. I don't know, maybe Thursday or Friday next week. I don't know. Thursday probably, because I got a thing Wednesday.
Nice little break from politics too. So.
I guess. It's a topic, right? And it's in the zeitgeist now because I guess someone said that circumcisions cause autism because they give the babies Tylenol after. That was a real statement from someone. But yeah. Thanks for letting my debate show be the thing that decides the fate of your child. That's a little weird, but okay.
Again, it's ultimately up to my wife, I think. But
Okay.
I'm sure she'll heavily consider the outlook of your debate on this decision.
I'm sure she will. Tell her hi for me, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay, buddy.
All right, later, bud.
Yeah. The fate of a child is in our hands. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. This should not ever be a word that a YouTuber says. I guess if you're pro circumcision and you want to debate about it on my show on Thursday next week or something, maybe Tuesday, I don't know. Give me a holler, and I'll set you up. I'm sure I can find antis. Women are totally out of control. We're talking about it Wednesday, gelatinous rib. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. The chop or not chop, will he shown on Wick stream? No, we're not going to do that. But yeah. Okay. Do we have any other callers? Anyone else want to talk to Wick TV tonight? Anybody? Bueller? Gang, I know it's Friday. And I know you guys have a lot of stuff that you want to do for the weekend. I know that you could be anywhere right now. But you chose to be with me, listening to kind of a chill, relaxed call-in stream, and I appreciate that. I do. Can I just say how happy I am with how my content's been going those last few months? We have grown a lot. We have turned this from something that when I started years ago, I had like 3 viewers. Okay. And now I'm getting on a stream where it's just me. 61 on YouTube, 25 on Twitch. That's a good amount of people. And look, we're getting good amounts of guests, really strong ones. We're going to have Drew Pavlo on Sunday. We finally got this settled, okay? Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Erudite and Drew Pavlo will be here to talk about all the things, right? Heritage Americanism, all these things. And this guy's getting retweeted by JD Vance, okay? He's getting retweeted by Elon Musk. We're having this caliber of guest, okay? This is an insane thing to think about. But there are people in positions of administrative power and influence that watch my show. On the left and the right. Who know of me. And who sometimes even give me money to be on, like Lex Friedman is the guy, right? Like you guys know. He has dinner with Ivanka Trump on Thanksgiving and things like that. Elon Musk has seen my show. He hasn't given me money, do I know of. He should. I would like money. It's just weird to think about. It's so crazy. Bring on another caller. Hi, you're the last caller. What you got? Bro, first of all, Aeon for $2. MAGA means witch in Latin, by the way. Thank you. Okay, what you got, Zetsui? You're live. Hello? Hello? If you're talking, we can't hear you. Okay, well. I appreciate the willingness to call in, but your tech, I don't know what it is. Ain't working, gang. It was probably going to solve all of our issues, right? Everything, all the world's problems, it was within our grasp. He was about to give his take and solve all of it, and we would have been like, wow, I'd never thought of that before. Suddenly, we know the solution. The tech just didn't work. and it wasn't there. Very sad. I guess we got one more last caller. Hello, you're live.
Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
Yes, what's up?
Beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, I wanted to make sure my computer's running a little slow for whatever reason, but I wanted to ask, what's with the recent gender war stuff? It's interesting. I dislike your recent attacks on free speech and the promulgation of free speech by the president. So I'm happy to see this new direction turn back towards more important topics like the gender war. But did anything kick this off for you?
I saw that tweet, and I showed you that tweet, and I was like, oh, we need to talk about this.
Wait, that was literally it?
That was literally it, yes.
Okay. Inspiration strikes you.
Yeah. I saw something. Someone said something stupid that I disagree with, and I want to talk about it. Yes, that is how most of my topics come to me. Someone says something that I disagree with, and I'm like, I want to talk about it. And so here we are.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it a lot. What kind of people are you thinking for next Wednesday?
Okay. Well, I already got at least you. I want to get that darn kitten. She's agreed in principle. She'll be on your side, by the way. She doesn't think men are coddled. For your opposition, it's going to be harder. Okay. I'm going to try to get, let's see. We can get, if we make it a little later, if we make it like 7 Eastern, we can get Mooncake. Mooncake's cool. She would fight you.
Okay.
And we could find a...
What about Erudite?
I think Erudite would agree with you.
Really?
Well, not your more insane takes, but in general, I don't... Erudite doesn't think men are coddled in America.
All right.
So, and plus, Erudite's been on my show like so many times recently. I don't want to like wear out my welcome with her. She's coming on Sunday. She was on yesterday or Wednesday, I should say. Yeah. So.
I gotcha. Hey, one other question, since I wasn't expecting that to be such a simple answer. What do you think about the race communist Gestapo getting their funding temporarily cut? What do you think about that? You talked a lot about... They
didn't defund ICE. They actually increased their funding.
No. The race communist Gestapo is something called the Community Relations Service. Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we have a X-Files department, but for black people instead of aliens, that go around to victims of race violence, which of course are usually white victims with black perpetrators, and threaten them for things like, hey, maybe we don't prosecute these people if you don't go up on stage and tell everybody this isn't about race. They're immune to FOIA requests, apparently, which I don't know if that's because they're under a different branch of government or something like that. That's sometimes the case. I was just wondering, it's weird to me to see people all of a sudden, because we did have a couple of really bad race killings. And I think this one gentleman was recently let out after a really short period of time for killing like 2 kids and then like stabbing a third so hard in the head that the knife that he used bent. And instead of the normal thing that you have with Austin Metcalf's father, where he says, this isn't a race thing, please don't make it a race thing, even though it's obviously a race thing, so who's paying this guy or threatening to say it? The dad of these victims came out and said, if that guy gets out, I'm going to kill his ass. And that was just like a shocking... I don't know, it feels like something's shifted in the race narrative of America. It's pretty exciting. And I'm wondering if the race communist Gestapo falling apart.
Do you think that guy wouldn't have said that if the killer had been white?
I think...
Hold on. No, answer my question. Do you not think that father of those children who was stabbed would say the same thing if the killer had been white?
I have no reason to believe that he would say the same thing if the killer had been white.
You have no
Because
reason to
people
believe that a
do-
man who had just had his children killed, or who had his children killed violently, the killer had been arrested, would say, if this guy gets out, I'm going to kill his ass. You think that the race of the killer played a factor
think that is
in what he said? That's
I do think, well,
crazy.
you're twisting two different things here. It is totally acceptable for the father to say that if the killer was white. However, that does not mean that race is not also a factor.
I don't
You
think,
can make it an aggravating
I
factor.
see no evidence.
If the out-group attacks you, yes, people do often react more negatively than if the in-group attacks you. And America has been the star example of this kind of rhetorical weirdness for the past 60 years. Is it white people killing black people?
If I had kids...
Hold on, is it... No, answer that. Is it white people killing black people
It's
in America?
people killing people, bro.
No, is it white people killing black people in America?
On occasion.
On occasion. So that means that it's usually not.
Okay. Look.
But is there a rhetorical current that targets white people anyways?
Okay.
Of course there is. And I don't think black people are unreasonable for that, by the way.
Hold on. I'm going to be real with you. Okay? The fact that you think that race has something to do with what this guy said about the person who killed his kids is insane to me. And I'll tell you why. If I had children... and they were killed by anyone, by you. If you killed them, your race, whether you're white, black, whether you're in-group or out-group, wouldn't matter. It would just be like, you killed my kids, and if you got out of prison for that, I would feel a certain type of way, and vengeance would be on my mind, and yeah, that would be a thing. I wouldn't care what race or gender or political ideology you had, and the fact that you're trying to fit a racial narrative into this, it just doesn't fit. It's a square peg, round hole.
Well, it does fit because we have a X-Files of black people that says, let's go around and prevent.
What are you talking about?
I want to believe that. We have an X-Files of black people that goes around and makes sure that people are pressured into not mentioning things like race or to de-escalating, in their words, de-escalating racial tensions.
What's the name of this group?
I believe it's a community relations service.
The Community Relations Service, and they're affiliated with the
government? I hope
government?
it's not community service relations.
What are they, an advocacy group or a government knockoff or what?
No, they're a part of the United States Department of Justice.
Okay. I don't know anything about that group. It sounds like I'd have to look to see if whether you're representing what they do correctly or not. But
I'm sure that you would characterize it differently. It's
I don't know. I don't know about this group.
Advocating for peaceful de-escalation and stuff like that. But no, I think that, listen, if these people, if an out-group attacks my kids and gets out earlier, I'm going to assume, because I'm prejudiced, right? Because I have natural unconscious biases, I'm going to assume that probably he got out because of the fact that he is an out-group, especially in today's climate. I'm just going to assume that he's been given some special privileges. I'm going to assume that he exists within our two-tier justice system in which somebody like the fucking animal that killed Irina Zarutska, however you pronounce her fucking name, doesn't really matter. We only care about her because she got killed. Is some animal like that the only reason he's out on the street is probably because of his race.
Okay, buddy. We'll talk.
Sucks. I hate that we're in that culture, right?
I want to talk to you later. Can't handle him today. Okay. I don't know, man. Like, the fact that you're thinking about the race of the killer who killed your children at all is weird. Here's a link he sent me, by the way. Dick Masterson. How someone treats animals and how they treat women are good indicators of who they are as a person. Referencing the Hassan drama. In opposite directions. Look, if you treat anyone, man, woman, if you treat animals badly, probably a bad person. How you treat those you feel are less than you is also a good indicator of who you are as a person. How you treat those that you feel have less influence and power. How you treat your outgroup, I guess to use the words of the last caller, is a good indicator, I should say, of who you are as a person. If you're out there treating everyone below you like puppies to be kicked or shot collars to be shocked, you're a bad person. I don't care how nice you treat your peers. I don't care how nice you treat those who are above you in the social standing. Look at how people treat the waiters, the wait staff, for example, or the help. That's a good indicator of who they are. It's not the only indicator, right? But it's a good metric. $2 from Gelatinous Drew to say, hit the like button for Wick. That I can get behind, okay? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy my content, we got more coming up. Sunday, we got a good show for you, okay? Not so erudite. Drew Pavlo. It will finally happen. Cross our fingers, okay? At 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Tune in for that. Wednesday, we got another great debate coming in. And at some point next week, probably Thursday, I want to do, I guess what Harrison asked me to do. Circumcision debate. So if you have strong thoughts on that, hit me up. With that, I think I'm going to go. Just relax for the rest of my Friday. Thanks for hanging out. And we're going to end it. Talk to you later. Peace out, Girl Scouts.